All right, I am here uh, with this fine gentleman. He does everything Xbox. He does a whole bunch of news. He's on Facebook. He has his own website. Pretty sure you have your own YouTube, and
Yeah,
you just do a whole kerfuffle of news. And
yep.
what is your name, good sir?
Ultan. Irish name, you're never going to hear it again from anyone. But I usually go online by either the Irish Carp or Everything Xbox as I'm known on Facebook.
Fantastic. And just what exactly is it that you do?
Uh, I be me. I do journalism and content creation. I do the journalism for my website, everythingnerd.com. But a majority of the time, I'm just doing content creation, meme creation. I suppose I'm just a mix of everything: journalism, content creator, memer. I've been doing journalism for 5 years, give or take. My first time where I really solidified that was getting my very first media pass for E3. Rest in peace, we miss you. But for social media management and all that, I've been doing it for closer to a decade. And it's been a wild, wild journey.
How'd that all start? You said you mentioned the E3 pass. How'd that start? That's big.
Yeah, I I think I took a chance. I sent in my criteria. I sent in some articles I wrote. I did some with some websites in back in the UK. They liked my and at the time I think I only had 40, maybe 50,000 followers, something around there. I think my views over 28 days was maybe 800,000 to like 1.2 million, and like it's significantly higher these days. And they took a chance on me, and provided me with my media pass. I had a chance to meet some very cool developers, and the thing that really meant a lot for me was that I was able to befriend like a multitude of PR people. And most gaming companies, they have in-house PR that deal with, like, they delegate information to whatever company that they hire. And over the years, a lot of people have bounced around. So my contacts, every time someone goes to another company or whatever, my network has grown. Um, and just it was never in my life did I think that watching E3 as a teenager, that I'd be, given a press pass where I'd be able to interview some really cool developers, give my 2 cents. Yeah, it was really. I didn't get any. Like, I was still quite small. I didn't get any like Capcom or anything. A lot of indies. Xbox gave me maybe a half-hour time slot, but yeah, it was a really special moment. I was very proud of myself. Thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed myself, and it was nice to see, you know, talking to developers that, you know, with every company you see, it's very business what puts out, and then when you actually talk to the people behind the scenes, you can just see for most of them just oozing passion for games and nerd culture. I think I was doing it in my bedroom in my old house, and one of the developers for Toy Box, it was like a over the head army game on like a tabletop. And he saw some Warhammer stuff behind me, and then we talked for another 10 minutes about the game, and then another 20 minutes, 30 minutes about Warhammer, and it was just like, they're people too, and it really showed a different side of just how I perceive the industry. So it was really cool. But yeah, that's how I got my start. I started it everything Xbox out of sheer boredom. I was working a night shift back in Galway, Ireland, and I just happened to set it up. I was hosting video game tournaments in one of the local bars. It was a two-story place, which was really cool. On the ground floor, we had FIFA, which is as as Americans call it, soccer, and then on the second floor there was Street Fighter, Tekken, and it was just cool. I set up the page like kind of almost in tandem with both of them, and yeah, it was just really fun. That was, but and that's how I got like if anyone's watching this and they're ever wondering, like, I've got a lot of passion for X, whatever, could be comic books, whatever, give it a go. You never know where it'll lead to. I mean, 9+ years later, I've got 123, 124,000 followers, which is insane to me. It's still like it's still crazy. But yeah, that's my start in this weird ride.
That is just honestly inspiring because that's basically a lot of people's like some of the greats life story, either from like a great scientist in history or anything like that, where they were just like, I just kind of just started like throwing darts at a board one day and it snowballed out of control.
Yeah,
and now I've invented the atom bomb.
Yeah, well, the thing is, never give up. I mean, like, especially if you're trying social media, you could spend 2 years with 100 followers, and you just keep ticking away, and like, as wordsmiths say, they put the pen to paper, and something will eventually shine to someone. So you'll do as long as you're being yourself and not trying to follow other trends. Something will stick out, and you will always find people will grasp onto it. And like, I'm a huge, absolute nerd. Like, and just for me, back when I was a kid and pre-teen into Warhammer, and seeing like how massive Warhammer is now, it's almost like you can call him almost thank Henry Cavill for bringing it out to the masses. But like, you never know. If you have a passion for something, just try it. You never know.
Okay, so you recently, not too long ago, well, I guess I should start with this. So obviously, we had the big Microsoft reveal of Fable and some other games that they've been keeping on the back burner and such. So let me ask you, how did your first exposure to the series like go down? Like, how did you get hooked on it in the first place?
So it all goes back to I wasn't a day one Xbox gamer. Um, I was obviously back home. I don't know how old I was, maybe 10 to 12, no, 10 or 11, I think. Um, and I was hanging out with like I used to live in a cul-de-sac, and there used to be big greens where we used to all play rugby and football, or just beat the crap out of each other just because kids do things. And then there was one of the guys I hung out with. Yeah, he had like family friends that lived, so it was like three cul-de-sacs together, and we went over, and Fable was out, and Sonny brought us in. He was much older. He had a younger brother that was our age. He was a bit older, and he just showed us like, he was doing an evil playthrough, and we were there for hours, man. Like, back in the day, you'd see, the street lights would go on, and you'd be like, oh, time to go home. And we couldn't, we're hooked. And just, he was doing nefarious acts, like, shooting magic, just getting the hate and turning evil and sacrificing people. And just seeing how the character, like, visually changed over, I'd say we were there for like 5 hours. So I saw that, and I was like, oh my God. My dad, being the legend that he is, he was like, "Oh, we'll get you an Xbox." And so he brought me to they're no longer in Ireland. There's very few of them left in the United Kingdom, but it was a store called Game. Loved that store. The staff were awesome, and he brought me in there. And for £25, Irish pounds, before we converted to the euro, I got an Xbox original with Fable, Halo 1 and Halo 2 with two controllers for £25, Irish pounds. And I did not get off Fable for days. Now, granted, I was so young, so a lot of the humor, like that we would pick up and find hilarious today, I went over my head. But like visually, it was just captivating. Like, it was just so colorful. It just felt very fun to play. Like, you were just, it was peak fantasy for a young child. Like, you read a book and you're like, oh, I'm off to slay a dragon. Or I think one of the things I remembered so fondly was that first boss that you killed in Fable, which was the Bee Queen.
Yeah, the Wasp Queen, yeah.
The Wasp Queen, and you're walking around just, hey! And then everyone's clapping. I was like, oh my God. Like the PlayStation 2 was, at the time a graphical powerhouse, but the Xbox original just had that much more oomph to it, and it just seemed like a almost living, breathing world. It captivated me, and with Fable, just the writing, the music. Oh my god! Like just instant happiness and nostalgia. Whether I hear the music from Fable 1 or 2 today, but yeah, that was my first introduction to Fable.
Out of curiosity, so obviously we had Fable 1, but then we had the Lost Chapters released. Did you
Yep.
ever play that like back then at that like same time?
Yeah, got that one, and back then the internet, we had dial-up connection, and the way young kids like myself would get information about games was talking to your friends or picking up the monthly OXM magazine or the PlayStation magazine every month, and then I didn't even know what DLC was at that time, and I went out and got the Lost Chapters. I just today, like, people are like, "Oh, I don't like the last chapter. I love it." And I mean, for me personally, it was just more content for me to enjoy for one of my favorite games of all time. That I was just, like, shoot me, like I just want to go more and explore more. Uh, but yeah, I after that, Fable 2 was a day one for me, and so was the Fable 360 port. They were both day ones for me with my own money.
Yeah, I had like kind of like a similar situation. So my family, in like 2008 or something along those lines, they just randomly came home with like an original Xbox they found on eBay, and
Yes.
it had Fable, it had the Lost Chapters. I played the original Fable disc, and then one day something happened to it. It got scratched or whatever, and it didn't work. So I was like, let's pop in this other one that we had, the spare, not knowing.
Yeah.
And I kept noticing indiscrepancies. Like, wait a minute, this mother trucker was never here before, or like, wait a minute, this quest wasn't here, but maybe I just missed it. And then I killed like the boss, the original boss, and then it goes 1 year later. I'm like,
Jack. Oh, when you get Jack of Blades.
yeah, like the 1 year
Yeah.
later that pops up. I'm like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, what is this? Like, because I was like, you
Pure
can add
wonderment.
things to games.
Yeah. Yeah, like absolutely mind blowing. Like no one knew what a DLC was at our age, like at all. It was just like, oh, there's more. Sign me up right now.
Yeah, like things that like are almost like this expected thing now. Back then it was like, oh, well, that's it. That this is the game forever, and this will be all that it ever is, and we'll come back
Yep.
to it later. And so you've had your big your history of Fable and such. When you started playing it, and you get to Fable 2, because obviously that was a day one for you. What was your big reaction to the multiplayer element that they put in? Because
Oh man, I. It's funny, um, because I host the community events and everything in Fable. Like, I loved it. Anyone that I know that played Fable back then loved it. It was a little. It was something like so unexpected. Just seeing it just felt like you were part of something a little bit bigger. Seeing like a large community in a game like Fable. Like, granted, you couldn't see players running around, but like the fact that you could just gift each other gold or weapons and stuff, I thought it was wonderful. I like. It's one of my peak memories of like the 360 era. Is Gears of War and all that, but like just the orbs, just in Bowerstone Marketplace, just watching them just go around with the old school profile Xbox 360 profile pictures. It's just pure joy. Back then and today, I absolutely loved it. It was awesome. I have nothing bad. Like at the time, it was perfect. Like you're going 20 plus years later, and you're like, oh, I mean, could they have done something more? I mean, yeah, but like at the time, technologically speaking, they might have been limited. But like you could walk up to someone and invite them to your world. Now, granted, at the time, I didn't like it felt really cool. But you couldn't go too far away from each other, which they helped in Fable 3. But at the time, it was mind blowing. I wouldn't do it. Like people kept inviting me to join their world, and I'm like, no, I'm okay, thank you. But back then, I thought it was so. innovative. And I think for people that tried it back then, it's part of the identity of Fable 2 was just hanging around in Bowerstone, and that's literally why I started doing it. Now, granted, in my own community and my followers, like people are like, and this boggles my mind, and I feel so bad for people that they're like, I didn't even know this was a thing. Because for some reason, I don't know if I turned it on manually back in the day, but a lot of people are like, I didn't even know. And I was like, you got to turn the setting on. And there's so many people out there that, and I mean hundreds, from I've seen firsthand that had no idea. And I'm like, oh, you missed out on one of the coolest aspects of Fable 2. And I put up a post about this interview today, and someone was like, what's that? Why is there orbs in Fable 2? And I'm like, no! So I personally loved it. I thought it was awesome.
It's truly like a like you had to be there to understand
Yeah.
the weight of watching a bunch of tiny dudes in beanies and gas masks running around.
Like even like, and you know what? It just shows like you put it perfectly. You had to be there because even people are like, oh, that joined my one of my meetings. They were like, oh, this sucks. You can't see other players and stuff. They didn't know about it, or they never they got to Fable far too late. Um, and they're like, oh, this is not really good. And I'm like, you had to be there. It was like it was a special time. And like people, back in the day, you'd be like, you're hunting down for the dolls. You remember the dolls for the achievement? And
Yeah.
like you'd have people with you'd have like groups in Bowerstone Marketplace, like, I've got like 150,000 gold, or I got 1,000,000 gold, and you're just like auctioning off dolls to each other. I always
I
thought that was hilarious.
I never like completed that. Did you actually like were the dolls exclusive to some people's worlds?
No, a lot of them were found in game. Now, I myself didn't like in my original playthrough on my normal gaming profile. I did not collect them all. I mean, I was a kid. There was games coming out all the time. Xbox Live Arcade was at its peak, but I did a lot of multiple playthroughs. But I never bothered collecting all the dolls. But in my community meetups, uh, because I hosted them with my my open new gamer tag that people can add me on. I was gifted all the dolls, so I did get the achievement through little to no work. But regarding like their exclusivity, I don't think so. I think they were just you had to get your dog. Do you know how you could get your dog's skill level higher when it comes to like discovering things? And need some of them, I think you needed higher, like level 2 or 3, and like you have to go to certain parts of the maps and stuff, and that's where you found some of the dolls.
Yeah, the dog, and then like if I recall, the dog could only find certain treasures if he had a certain level of like
Yeah,
finding, and
correct.
then you had the books that you could train him with.
Yeah, precisely. Like the first level was like gold and potions and some chocolate, and I still find your dog digs up a condom like hilarious. Whoever thought of doing that, like, kudos to you. You're still making people laugh. And we actually had I'm not going to say his name, but we actually had a developer who worked on Fable that was taking part in all the community events, which was really awesome.
It's crazy. It's like one of those like just like that's awesome to have someone that was actually like
Yeah, it
part of
was.
that.
Yeah, he loved what I was doing. He loved that the community were showing up. I just like he told me not to mention his name in the because there was the chat for everyone around.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
just for him to take the time to message me and to actually join, I'm not on Reddit, uh, so like apparently a lot of people found out about it on Reddit, and that's where he saw it. And yeah, it was it was quite surreal. Like one of my favorite. Just yeah, it warmed my heart to no end.
Yeah, that's incredible that you even got like one of the developers to come out of the rabbit hole and
Yeah, like seriously. No, it was very. I mean, if Peter himself showed up, I would have probably screamed like a little girl.
uh so okay, so here's a question then. So you were so like enamored by the multiplayer in 2. So we get to Fable 3, which had like I think the same concept, the orbs running around.
Yeah, it had the orbs. I think like it. I don't really know how to put this. I played Fable 3 quite a lot. Nowhere near as 1 and 2, not even close. Um, I just like they did it better, the co-op where you bring another player in, but for me, when I think of multiplayer and Fable, my heart and brain go to Fable 2. I didn't spend, I played Fable 3, I wanted the story, and it just felt that the community wasn't there as much as strongly there as it used to be in 2. Um, so yeah, I was just like, it was cool to see. Um, the one thing a lot of us complained about is if you're gifting someone, you can't, like, you could gift, I think, 1 billion coins in Fable 2 straight to another person. I think in Fable 3 they nerfed it down so you can only gift up to a maximum of 100,000.
Yeah, that's probably influenced by the fact that the ending is directly influenced by
Gosh,
you
yeah.
having a giant pile of cash
Yeah,
just in the
gold.
vault.
Yeah. But I felt like it was just I don't have too much to say on it because, like, being completely honest, it wasn't. I guess I was playing. By the time Fable 3 came out, I was more focused in, like, different Call of Duties. I was playing Warhammer Dawn of War quite a lot, and just a multitude of other games, and it just didn't. I didn't find it as magical as it was in Fable 2.
So overall, when you held this, like you obviously sat down one day and went like what brought about the community meetup in your mind?
Shout out to Noob Pooner. he's he's an OG that still runs around Fable 2 even to this day. He's got a Bioshock picture. He's the nicest guy ever. Um, I set up like my new Xbox account that's public. And I was like, oh, I gotta play these games with new achievements all over again. I was like, yay! And I literally went into Fable 2 just for nostalgia and to create some content. That was it. And Noob, it was just me and him, 2 orbs in Bowerstone, no one else. And this happened over the course of a couple of days. And he walked over to me and he gifted me like clipped items that weren't in game, like maximum power weapons. Gifted me 1 billion gold, set me on my journey. And I had just gotten to Bowerstone Market. And then I just sat and talked to myself. I was like, you know, there's a particular thing in gaming now where like nostalgia for like the 360 and PS3 era is at a maximum peak. I mean, they have a yearning for when games used to, for most part back then, would release polished and not require a year of updates. So I went back and he handed me that, and I was just like, oh, you know, I messaged my best friend Niall, and I was like, dude, do you remember all the orbs in Fable 2? And he's like, oh my god, yeah. And I was like, I've got a hefty amount of followers, and all my Fable content does really well. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna host a community event, and I did it like 2 days later with little to nothing. I think I made one, maybe 2 posts about it, and over the course, I think I had 60 something people show up in and out, probably over 100 that dropped in and out in total. And we were like, oh my god, I did like 4 or 5 cross Fable 2 in the space of like a month and a half. But the second meetup in Fable 2, I was really hoping the maximum amount was 100 players for the particular server. We got to like 88, which it was. I wish we got to to 100, but it was so incredibly cool just seeing the world. Like, it just took me and everyone else there back to when most of us were teenagers. We had no problems or anything. It was just gaming and myself was felt more wholesome. There wasn't as much hate. And it was just really nice people sharing stories about their stories with Fable, how they came across, or some people were like, "It's my first time, blah blah blah. This is so epic." And then one of the guys, you know, the clock tower
Yeah.
in the middle. So there's the arch underneath. So he was like, anyone who wants gold, line up. And then there was like a bunch of orbs just like in line, and they were moving once they got max gold. It was really cool. I really, really, really enjoyed it.
That's absolutely crazy. So overall, like, because I remember seeing you like an article at some point, like a news article about like the meetups that you were bringing together.
Yep.
And what was like your reaction to the amount of attention that you were getting for just calling like everyone like, yo, let's hop on this game from like what, 2007?
Yeah. I was kind of shocked because like some people in my comments call me famous. I'm not. I'm just a regular dude from Ireland. Like that's I'm not. I'm a gamer. I'm just a dork. But my first thought was like, I have a dope community. People showed up. Man, there wasn't not an ounce of someone trolling or being an ass. Nothing. People there just for the love of the game, sharing stories, and it was just like that was. And I was like, oh, one of my other big thoughts was like, I'd love to be a fly on the wall to wherever the servers are for Xbox, where that was. I just the spike that was going on, and like people were sending me pictures of like, you know, after my community events, the games Fable 2 and 3 were more populated than ever, and I was like, you know, me and the community did that. People were like, oh, it was all you, but I was like, I say this no matter what I do. There is no me without ye. I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for people or my community. So like I take hats off to myself and to everyone that came and helped. People were spreading the word on Reddit and like YouTube. People were recording clips. So it made my heart feel full of joy.
Yeah, I get you. Like it's crazy. So you held one for Fable 3 as well.
I did two, I believe, for Fable 3.
What was what was like the turn up rate for that?
Oh, Fable 3, both of them were also nearly at max capacity, so they were probably hovering around 70, 80. They were as good, but I think a lot of us, like yourself, the nostalgia hit strongly for Fable 2. As I said, I played the games quite a lot, but I didn't spend too long with the multiplayer aspect, and if there was a lot of people were too shy to talk, so I would have been talking with some of the other community members, and if they weren't present or they had to go, it was just me talking by myself with orbs. And part of the thing that I really enjoyed with Fable 2 is, regardless of what was going on, if the conversation was getting a little dull, you could still crack a joke or laugh at the townspeople. Shops are now closing. The time is very, very late. And I just feel like Fable 3, it was so monotone when they said it. So like the fun factor was kind of removed. But it was just, you know, regardless of how I feel about Fable 3, I don't hate the game by any means. I just found it a bit lackluster, but just the fact that it's an old game and that there's people coming back. And like, you know, the community showed up for Fable 2. The community wanted to do Fable 3, so you know, give and take. So they did that for me, I did that for them. And they've given me a list of other games they want me to revive. I think the next big one that we're going to do is Grand Theft Auto 4. So yeah, I'll just see what we can do. And I swear to God, I'd love to be just just a fly on the wall, just to see the employees going, what the hell's going on here? Why is there so many people jumping into this game?
Yeah, like that's crazy. And also you unlocked like a weird like core memory for me just now where I forgot there was a flippin' voice chat in game for the orbs, and you just brought back the memories. Just I would just be sitting there playing Fable 2, and I would just randomly hear some guy up at like flippin' who knows how late with his flippin' Xbox 360 mic, just like, hey, anyone got gold?
Actually, I will tell you. So the one that Fable 3, the proximity chat was really good. in Fable 2, oh my god, it was terrible. Just for I had to say multiple times, like, can we talk one by one? Because it was like some people had really bad mics as it is, but like it just the quality because the game was so old. But we got through it, and there was jokes and laughs and stories told. So, but yeah, that was the biggest contrast between Fable 2 and 3 was the quality of the proximity chat.
Yeah, of course. So I guess like heading towards the end of this here. So obviously we got the new Fable coming. It could be one of two things. It could be the final dragging out back and shooting of the
Shooting the dog,
franchise,
yeah.
or it could be a new like beginning for it, and we could have like new Fable games around the corner. What are obviously we're not going to get what we had exactly because there's been a
No,
whole plethora of technical developments. Fable used to be open zone rather than open
yeah,
world, and people are gonna follow trends and all that other stuff. I mean, look at Elden Ring; it was open world. um,
yeah.
like overall, like what is your like big wish to see from a new Fable as someone who's a longtime fan?
To be honest, it sounds silly, but like being completely honest, I just wish they can capture some or all of the magic. Like I want like Danny Elfman did the music for the original games, and he hit the nail, or he hit the ball out of the park. I want the music to land. I want the banter to be the same quality, and just the magic. Like get the story right, get the story, just make it fun. I hope there's multiplayer, and a part of me wants the orbs back. Like a big part of me wants the orbs back. Whether they do that or not, I have no idea. But like, considering it's Playground Game, they have they've got definitely a lot of experience with multiplayer. So I hope multiplayer's in it, and more than likely it won't be. But I would love to see the orbs return in some shape or form. It probably won't, but that would be capturing the magic and the return of orbs would be my two most things I'm looking forward to. Um, I want the quality right and to be good. And it's been so long. I just want it to be good. I'm excited, but I'm also very worried.
Yeah, for me personally, if it came with a thing I hope to see return as part of like the banter and like the overall setting, because I've always loved Fable as a setting. I mean,
Yep.
you gotta look at like the first game where like you have a guild and you hear the word hero and you assume like, oh, morally good people, and then you find lore books where it's like, oh yeah, that bald guy you've been talking to for like the last 20 hours, he went and led a rebellion. Why? Because he wants people to be able to get paid to murder people.
I Yeah, that would be like a great aspect. I don't know if you I posted myself on my page, but there's some artwork that a former developer
I
dropped.
saw.
It gives me some hope, like the little hamlet, and that could be like the hub zone or whatever. I think they're definitely like. I mean, one of the Forza games was based in England, and they captured the essence really well. So I think we're going to be okay there. I really do. But like, I mean, who knows? My biggest, I suppose, concern is that we've only saw two trailers, and they're both kind of vastly different. I know a lot of people in my community are worried about if you're going to be locked to one gender. Um, I don't. That'd be a very silly thing for them to do, especially in this day and age. I try and reinforce the thought that like even as some of the latest Assassin's Creed games, you know, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, for instance, Ivor marketed as a man, but you could pick both. Um, so I think they're going to be going through that route, and I think a lot of people are kind of they're jumping to too many conclusions without learning more. And I really hope, I mean, the fans, we deserve to have a lot of our big questions answered and for a lot more to be shown. Just to, fan the flames for excitement. Um, like they need to show off a lot. And from one of the concept arts, I think you might have saw it, there's a horse in it. So there might be some, you know, like an easier way to travel around. But at the same time, a lot of people are like, "No, that's not Fable. You can't be gallivanting around on a horse." But I mean, times change, games evolve. I want the game itself to evolve, like, but not too much. Don't wash away its original identity and just slap Fable on it. I want the magic to slap as well. Like the magic needs to be done properly. Like in Fable 2, where you could mix two of them together, was just awesome. So
Yeah,
yeah,
when I saw the concept art, like I try to like temper my expectations because it's former guy who used to
yeah,
work there,
yeah.
randomly showcasing like the stuff on his thing. So that can mean any number of things. It could be he got the okay to do it because they're not using that stuff. It could be
Yep.
that like maybe the stuff
He
is
could
like
have
in
been
motion,
salty.
or it could be fake. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
but well, when it comes down to like the upcoming event and stuff, like what So, what would you think overall they would really need to do to recapture people's faith after like kind of like the rocky time that Xbox, for example, has had? Like, for example, with the cancellation of Perfect Dark.
Yep. That was handled just terribly from both Xbox and the developers. They they worked on that game for a very long time, and there was many millions put into it, and there was little to no development done. So, I mean, if I was a business owner and I saw that, do you keep draining money or do you put the horse out of its misery? I don't have any inside information, and that's my what I'm saying is just pure conjecture on my behalf. But I hope there's like a lot of lessons learned. I mean, there's a lot of Perfect Dark fans out there, but the it's nothing in comparison to the amount of fans that Fable has as a franchise. I would hope that there's enough care and love put into the game because they need it. They need it to do well. It's been so long since it's been announced. They need to show gameplay. They really do. They need to show what type of customization can be done, just to put some of the anger and conjecture to bed, um, and just showcase the world. And one of my biggest concerns is I don't want them to like it was a, from an outside perspective. Fable kind of looks like a kid's game, but with the dialogue and the banter, there's a lot of in between read in between the lines stuff going on, and I hope they don't. I hope they keep that. Like they need to keep that. They can't just tone it down and make it like this is a kid friendly only. And I don't want them to make it too dark and gory either. I mean, like just keep the spirit of the game, um, because that's why we all love Fable. And if they can't, I mean, there's no hope.
Yeah, like for like major thing about Fable is just the pure fact, like yeah, you do have like those dark moments. I mean, in the first, your flipping sister gets her eyes cut out.
Yeah, yeah.
And then like you immediately like run down to Oakvale, have a whole PTSD trip, and then wander over there. There's a flipping dude hosting a flipping kicking chicken competition. Like,
Like you need to keep like that's the magic I'm talking about. Like it needs to be that, and I'm just it's one of my biggest concerns. But overall, I'm cautiously, optimistically excited because no one more than me wants to see this game succeed. Like it's if it doesn't bode well for gamers or Xbox.
yeah,
And
like
I read it.
this is really all they have left in the tube currently because it's kind of just been like, here's this old thing we're bringing back, canceled. Here's this old thing we're bringing back, canceled. Here's this old thing we're bringing. And for a while, like a lot of us were worried, like, did Fable get the axe? Because like you say, releasing in 2025, and it's December.
Yeah, yeah. The I think like not just Xbox, but just companies in general. Stop announcing something if it's 10 years away, please. Like, because like, unfortunately, you get a lot of people that will obsess over it, and then the longer it goes on, that obsession turns into seething hatred. And I see it every day, and I want to see people stop pooping all over Fable. Like, it's a what less than 2 days. Um, I hope it puts a lot of criticisms and you know confusion aside. Like I really do. Because the thing that I'm just, this is also to do with Grand Theft Auto 6 is there's a lot of games coming slated for Xbox this year that are coming out. Too many for them to evenly space them out, right? because Grand Theft Auto, is supposedly releasing, towards fall. Now there's rumors that it's getting delayed again to next year, but officially it's dropping this year. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to play it. Whether if it's $100, I'll still buy it. But Xbox have 5 games that are slated to release throughout this year. Forza, I believe, is definitely going to drop. I just hope it's not Fable that gets delayed into next year. My heart tells me it's going to be Gears of War E-Day because we've seen the least amount from that. And I think Xbox are up against the wall in regards to, like, you need the deep dive. It needs to have a solid release date that's not going to change because it's happened too many times. But yeah, fingers crossed. I'll be praying that it gets released this year. But part of me thinks it's either going to be Fable or Gears of War. But more than likely, it's going to be Gears of War because we've only got that one. What?
Yeah. Plus,
122nd.
They've pretty much exhausted like the amount of goodwill there is for Fable because of the long amount of silence that's been there.
Yeah, it does. I mean, there's questions being asked. I mean, the second trailer, it kind of looked like there was gameplay, and they didn't say anything. And then, I don't know if after, like, it was a couple of weeks after, or 2 weeks or something. I think they officially said that, yeah, that was indeed gameplay, but, like, show us more. Like, help us build the hype. But I don't even, like, I really hope it's a decently long deep dive. I know there's 2 other games being shown, Forza and that new action game from Game Freak that did Pokemon. But yeah, we can hope and pray, brother.
Of course. To wrap things up here and such, what are your plans for the event? Are you planning on doing like a stream or a video on it or anything?
No, I usually don't bother. I kind of like live post as it's going on. As like I usually, I'll post my reactions on a post or multiple posts, and then I'll take some time because usually by the end of it or just in the middle of it, my PR connections will send me the Dropbox or the link for the assets, and I'll have to go through those and pick out ones that'll stand out the most, and then get that ready to post. And then there's the amount of people, like, no matter, I could post about the Xbox Direct 100 times a day, and people would be like, "When is it? When is it?" So, and I don't really do live streams. I go on podcasts every now and then, but I'm very blunt and honest. I can't be one of those people that like put on a fake smile every day pretending I'm loving life and playing games. It's not me. I wear my heart in my sleeve. We've all have ups and downs in life, and I stick to posting.
Yeah, like essentially, like if you were like if you were like live watching it, you'd probably like if it disappointed you, you'd probably openly be like, "Well, that sucked."
Oh, I'll do that anyways. But it'll be in written form. But yeah, I never shy away from if I'm upset or like deflated, so to speak. But yeah, I usually just do posts. I'll either continue in the comment sections or just do multitude. But yeah.
Of course. Well, I highly appreciate your time doing this. If anyone wants to check him out, he has his usual channels of Everywhere Xbox on Facebook. He has his own website.
Everything Xbox.
Everything Xbox. And yeah, thank y'all for taking the time to watch this, and hope everyone has a good day.
Thank you.